Hey Patriots, Coach McAtee here. We are doing our parent meeting virtually this year, so hopefully this is going to be a convenience for you guys. I know it's getting to you Tuesday night. I was hoping to get it to you on Monday night, but ran out of time. So I'd like you guys to all have this finished by Sunday, August the 30th, so that we know that we're all on the same page. Those of you who've worked with me before kind of already know my coaching philosophy, but the new people, it's probably important for you to know where I'm coming from. My primary job as the coach is to help your son get to his potential. And I'm a pretty good judge of potential, and sometimes what I think is runner's potential is maybe a little more than what they think or what you think. So you're going to see me pushing and expecting a lot, but that's going to be based on my experience. So I'm shooting for getting your son to run the best that he's capable of running. That's my job. I'm also going to use the sport to teach some of the skills and attitudes that will help the student athlete to succeed in life outside of the sport. We don't have a lot of guys who are going to turn pro, so we spend a pretty good bit of time working on soft skills like communication and all that other stuff. So hopefully they're learning more than just how to run a good 5K in cross country. When your son isn't reaching his potential, it makes me unhappy because it makes me feel like I'm not doing a good job. There is no such thing as good enough here. So if your son or you are thinking that this is we just trying to get to a certain level, we're not doing that. We're trying to get to the best possible level. So no such thing as good enough. Not like passing a course. Very important that we be in touch and have good communication. There's my cell phone number there, 864-623-9492. You can call me or text me. I get up every morning at about 5, and I'm asleep typically by 9 o'clock on weekdays. If I'm up after that, something's gone wrong. But I shut my phone off, so if you want to send me texts after that, it won't bother me at all. I have my email on my school email on my phone. I don't check it all that often, so if you have something urgent, don't email it to me. Call me or text me. If you ever need to talk to me any day after training or after the meets, I'm happy to talk to any of the parents about any issues or concerns or anything you want to know about. I would just ask that you try not to talk to me before the meets. I'm trying to get ready just as much as the kids are. Before practice typically isn't good either. Everybody should have signed up for texts from Remind 101. If you have not signed up for the texting from Remind 101, there's a set of instructions that are attached to this email that the parent video came in. So make sure that you sign up for that stuff. Sometimes I'm going to send stuff out via Remind 101, and so it's real important that you're getting that so that you're in the loop. I'm on Twitter at Coach McAtee. I don't Twitter that much or tweet that much, so if you haven't signed up for that, that's not a big deal. Occasionally I'll send out some photos and stuff. I'm also on Instagram at Glenn McAtee if you want to follow me on there. I'd like everybody to take a little bit of a break right now for just a second and send me a text. All the parents, send me a text, and ideally mom and dad, it'd be great if you both sent me texts. And any of the athletes that have a phone, I'd like you to stop and send me a text. And in the text, it's going to say your first name and your last name. If you're a parent and it would not be obvious by your last name which boy belongs to you, please tell me so that I can make the connection. This does a couple things. One, it makes sure that I have your number in my phone just in case we have an emergency, but also make sure that you have my number in your phone. Even if you think I have your number, please text it to me. Those things can change, and sometimes I have it in my phone wrong, and this is just a real easy way for us to confirm that we've got two-way communication going on. So please go ahead and do that. I've got 49 guys on the roster. We've got 49 guys on the roster following tryouts. We've got some help from Coach Markwell again this year. He helped starting a track season actually 2 years ago now. He's got a lot of great perspective and insight for me. He sees the world a little bit differently than I do, and that's good. Sometimes he helps bring me back to reality, or he points out things that I don't see. So he's been a big help and very good asset to our program. Realize that Coach Markwell has the same authority that I do, but he doesn't deal with administrative issues. Should say doesn't deal with administrative issues. He's strictly a hands-on coach, so he doesn't want to deal with paperwork. He doesn't want to deal with absences and stuff like that. He wants to show up and do the meat and potatoes part of the coaching, and that's where he's been a big help to me. So So that's Coach Markwell. What is our team objective? What are we trying to accomplish? Well, our goal for every year is always to focus on the state meet. So we want to qualify our team to state meet, which is going to take place at the Sandhills facility in Columbia. This year, it's Saturday, November the 8th. And we're hoping to improve on our 6th place finish from last year. So we were 6th last year. We want to do better than that this year. That's always our goal. How do we qualify? Well, we got to finish among the top 8 teams. Now, I've read somewhere that it's going to only be 7, so I got to confirm that. It was 8 last year, but it may be 7 this year. And that happens at the 4A Upper State Meet at Dorman, which is on Saturday, October 31st. That's Halloween morning. So that's one of our big focuses as a group. What's it going to take to get to the state meet? Well, we're going to need to be in the mid-16s on a flat course and a team average somewhere under 17th on the Dorman course in order to get there to state meet. Is it possible for us to do that? Yeah, I think it's very, very possible and very doable, and I'm very optimistic that we're going to do that and that we're going to improve upon our 6th place last year. So lots of times the parents want to know how they can help the team. What are some things that you can do? Well, here we go. You could host a pre-race pasta dinner, and you could have that at your house, or we could have them in the Commons area. And I'm going to send out an email tonight as well with a sign-up genius that will allow you to contribute some food to the one we're having this Friday. You can attend the races. It's always great to see parents there supporting. You can take and share photos of the team, especially our seniors. We've had a lot of parents in the past that have done a great job taking photos, and we really appreciate you doing that. So please keep sharing that stuff. Help with fundraiser or donate money to the team. I'm kind of going back and forth right now. I know that you guys don't really like to fundraise, and so I'm giving some thought to, instead of doing a fundraiser where we sell plants or coffee or whatever, we might do just a little fundraiser where we solicit people just to make donations. So we do have some needs that are unmet. So give me some feedback on that. What would you guys prefer to do as parents? Because I know that you guys are a big part of that fundraising endeavor. Another thing you can do to help us out would be to join the Booster Club. The Booster Club at Jailman donated $100,000 in the 2014-2015 school year to athletics. This is going to be another tight year for money at Jailman. They tell me it's going to be even tighter than last year. So you could donate your money to them and earmark it for boys cross country. We've had people do that in the past, and that's great, and we really appreciate that. And I'll be sending out that sign-up form along with this email as well. So you should be able to do your application to Booster Club right through there. The other thing you can do is donate food for the canned food meet on September 23rd. I'll give you some more information as we get closer. And then let me know if you've got some other ideas about things that you could do to help the team. Some of you guys, parents have unbelievable skills and could help with all manner of different things that I haven't even imagined. So please feel free to tell me what your special skills and what you could do to help us out. We'd love to find a way for you to contribute to what we're doing. What are some of the individual objectives that the boys are going to have? Well, boys might go into the season wanting to run some particular time. They want to break 20 for 5K, or they want to run under 18 for 5K or something like that. Or they want to finish a particular place at a meet, like, I want to be in the top 20 at Greenville County or something along those lines. Their goal might be to make varsity, which is top 7 or 8, kind of depending on the meet. Or they might want to earn a letter. And we have the same letter policy as last year, and that's also included in this email too. So no changes from last year on the letter policy. Objective might be to improve personal fitness or prepare for another sport, and that's a great way of doing it. I know we got some guys that are going to play soccer in the spring. We got some guys who are going to play lacrosse in the spring, and I love having those guys out. The only thing I want to say is that this isn't free personal training. So during the cross-country season, if you're a soccer guy, you're not a soccer guy during cross-country season, you're a cross-country runner. So you can use it as preparation, but you got to be 100% committed to what we're doing here as well. Otherwise, it's just free personal training. We don't do that. I'm not in that business. It's a good way to improve self-control and self-discipline. Anybody that's done any running before knows that it's really easy to not run when it gets hard, or not force yourself to get the workouts done. It's also hard to push yourself, and those are important skills that you transfer over into life. So that kind of goes back to the soft skills that I was talking about as well. This is a good way to make new friends or spend time with old friends. We have a lot of camaraderie on the team. And so this is a good group of guys. We got a great group of kids here this year. A good way to learn teamwork, working towards some specific goal. And again, our goal is to make it to state meet and have a good result there. So everybody on the team has a role to play in that. Even the guys who aren't fast enough to be on our varsity for that right at this moment. Another important objective is to learn time management. It's tough. I know we got a lot of guys on our team who play a musical instrument and are involved in other clubs and activities and have family commitments and have jobs and all those other things. But you got to learn how to manage those things out so that you can be present for practice and prepared and all that stuff. And then also to have fun. If you're doing this and you're not having fun, then there's not a lot of reason to do it. We want to make sure that we're having a good time while we're doing it as well. We got two types of people on the team. We've got competitors and participants. Competitors are the team members who are fully committed to finding out how good they can be. Everything they do, say, think, all points toward that particular goal. These guys are going to do everything that's asked them by the coaching staff, and they're going to do a little bit more. They're going to go the extra mile. That's what a competitor does. They're going to do things that aren't mandatory. They're going to do some things that they know are important that maybe they weren't directly told to do, but they're going to do them because they know it's going to help them get better. I've said this before, and I'll say it again right now. If our 10 most talented guys on the team were all competitors, we would win state meet every single year. It wouldn't even be close. Unfortunately, what we typically have is about 4, 5, 6 guys who are competitors, and then we have some other guys who are pretty good that could help us out that aren't quite as much in the competitor mindset as they need to be. So that's a challenge. So we're working toward it. It's getting better and better. We got more and more guys who are coming over to the competitor side of things. So I think you're going to see better results from us this year. Participants are the other guys. They're the team members who enjoy being on the team, but they're not quite as concerned with results. They're not worried about making it varsity. They're not necessarily worried about what place they finish at Greenville County meet. These guys are still expected to follow all the same rules and expectations as everybody else. So whether you're a participant or competitor, rules are all the same for everybody. Are you a competitor or a participant? Well, it's not just based on your time or your results. You'd think it would be, but it's not. You don't have to tell me which one you are. The coaches know from watching you. We watch what you do and how you do it, and we can determine whether you're a competitor or a participant. This team has both guys. Both guys are welcome to be on the team. Both are going to be coached and held accountable. Both are going to be expected to contribute in some way. So even the guy that's not fast enough, like I said, to be on our varsity, he's got a role to play here, and he's got a way to help make all the rest of us better. And so he's got to figure out what that role is and contribute to that. If you having any trouble figuring that out, come see me, and we'll go through it, and I'll tell you some suggestions. Sometimes participants turn in competitors because they figure, I'm going to be out here and I'm already putting in the time. Maybe I'll just see what I can do. Maybe I'll see what I can accomplish, and sometimes that's the first step toward being a competitor. If you're a participant, you will never run on varsity for us. It doesn't matter how fast you run. You could run 14 flat for 5K. If you're a participant with a lot of talent, you're not going to run for us until you turn into a competitor. Parents, how can you help your son? Well, they're going to need your support. There's going to be some ups and downs, and they're going to need that support from you, whether they're on an up or a down. Make sure you're feeding them good, healthy food, and make sure they're getting lots of sleep. 8 to 10 hours at least a night, with some of that before midnight. I know that's tough with teenage boys. They don't always want to make healthy food choices and typically don't want to go to bed at the time they need to go to bed, but parents, we still need your help on that one. You need to make sure that they're training every day. Parents, you have a big role to play in this. You're the ones, and a lot of times, who scheduling their appointments and whatnot. Training has to be with the team. It's never as good when they're on their own. And so if there's any way they can be at training, they need to be at training. That may mean rescheduling some things, but they need to be there. A lot of people think of this as an individual sport. This is not an individual sport. This is, in fact, the ultimate team sport. If you don't train, you don't compete on our team. And so you need to be there and working hard with the rest of the guys. That's how you build team. Make sure they complete the on their own workouts. Some days there's going to be some workouts that are going to get done on their own. Like, for example, this Thursday. They know what the assignment is for Thursday. They might need a little reminder to get up early in the morning to get it done, or get it done as soon as they get home from school, or whatever it is. But parents, please help your son hold himself accountable. Also make sure that they're stretching at home. We hadn't talked a lot about this year, but a lot of the kids are growing pretty rapidly, and we've been lifting weights, and so there's some possibilities for losing flexibility if you're not spending some time stretching. And this is a good thing to do while you're watching TV or taking a study break or whatever. What about missed training sessions? Well, like I said on the last slide, team members are expected to be present at all team practices. If you're going to miss, you have to let me know at least 24 hours in advance via text or email. This is not a new policy. This is how things have been done on our program. If you're letting me know 2 minutes before, I'm assuming that we're assuming that you got some big emergency, and if an emergency comes up at the last second, I understand that. But what I don't like to hear about is hey, in 2 hours from now, Coach, I'm not going to be at practice because I've got a commitment that I've known about for 4 months. That's not really the way we do business. So I need you to know, let me know. And I prefer it to be text or email. I've got 49 guys, and I'm getting older, so sometimes I'm getting a little forgetful, and there may be a day when I yell at you because you weren't at practice, and you'll say, well, Coach, I told you about this a week ago, and appreciate you telling me a week ago, but sending me a text would be pretty helpful. What I'm going to do when you tell me you're not going to be at workout is I'm going to tell you what the workout is for the day. And it's not a deal where it's just, I'll run on my own, I'll run 20 minutes. I need you to do what you would have done if you were at practice. And that's going to be challenging because some of the workouts are pretty hard to do on your own. But that's what the expectation is. If you're not going to be there, you need to do what the rest of us are doing. That's part of being on a team. You're going to complete that workout, and you're going to use your device, your smartphone or your GPS watch to log it into Final Surge, which makes it excused practice. I don't want you to have too many excused practices, but that is one way that we can work around it. If you don't follow this procedure, this is going to be considered a missed practice, and you're going to miss competition as a result. Just simply blowing the practice off, not communicating, and not getting the work done, that is not acceptable. What if you're sick or injured? Well, that's going to happen sometimes. Coach Mark or I may at some point tell you to take the day off training, and as a result, you're excused. So if we tell you take the day off, you don't have to train, you don't have to do anything, then just log that into Final Surge and say, Markwell told me to take the day off, McAtee told me to take the day off, so in a month from now when we're looking back, we can remember, oh yeah, that was a day that I told him to take off. If on the other hand we tell you to cross-train, like to bike or swim, you do that and you log it into Final Surge. So that gets done. So can you use your GPS app on the bike? Yeah, you could do that. Just make sure you log it in as a bike ride. How about swimming? Well, some of you guys could probably do that, but I'm okay with you guys just putting down 30-minute swim or 45-minute bike or whatever. I don't really need you to log in all those details specifically using the app. If you're going to be absent from school for illness, you need to let us know. But please don't come to training. If you're not well enough to be at school, then you're not well enough to come and train. But let us know because we don't always know where you are. So it'd be good if you're sick just to let us shoot us a text, let us know what's going on. If you see a doctor for an illness or an injury, bring a written note that outlines what you can do and cannot do and when you can resume full activities. I don't want you to come back and me have you go do something that the doctor doesn't want you to do and you get worse or get sicker or the injury gets irritated or aggravated. We don't want that. So give me some guidelines. If you see the doctor, bring a note. And if you're in a PE class, bring a note for your PE teacher too so the PE teacher knows what's going on. There's going to be some days where we're going to do run on your own. This is going to be a new thing we're going to try this year because we've got the additional accountability with the smartphone app and the GPS watch. We'll be able to take some days where we give you a day off regularly scheduled practice. The weekly schedule will indicate those days and will outline what the athletes expect to complete for training that day. For example, on this Thursday, we have a day off, and the athletes are meant to duplicate Tuesday's practice. So they did the workout today. They know what the workout is for today. They're going to complete that same thing on Thursday on their own, log into Final Surge. I can see that. Markwell can see that, and we know you got the work done. If you're not going to do that, that counts as a missed practice session, and again, it's going to impact your chance to compete. So don't look upon those as days off. They're not days off. They're days where you're given some additional flexibility to do what you need to do. So what are some of those days? Those days are these Thursdays, 8:27, 9:10, 9:24, 10:08, 10:22, 10:29. I'm also going to give you Monday 9:28, which is the first day back from low country. I'm going to give you that as a day off. You will still be probably expected to run. We'll play that one by ear and see. But If you need to schedule events or appointments or other commitments, those would be good days to do that. If you're having any problems in classes, those are good days to try and arrange for some tutoring. If you've got other commitments, those are the times to do them. All other weekday afternoons from now until the end of the season, we're going to train as a group. So please plan your schedule accordingly to that. What are some reasons for missing practice? Well, here's some bad reasons. I have to work. Really what you should do is communicate with your boss and make sure you're not scheduled to work during practice time. So don't schedule for being there at 4:30. You can't make it. Here's another bad reason. I have to go get my learner's permit. Well, just go on a day you don't have practice. DMV is open on Saturday. DMV is open on the Thursdays that we have the days off. So don't go during practice time. That's not an acceptable reason to miss practice. Bad reason, I have a detention. I can't be there because I've got a detention. Well, don't act like a clown at school. If you do the right thing at school, you won't get detentions, and then you won't need to worry about it. Another bad reason, Coach, today is my birthday. I'm going to take the day off training. Well, happy birthday, but after practice is over, you can have the rest of the day off, but don't take days off for your birthday. Don't take days off for mom's birthday. Come get the workout done, and then go home, do what you need to do with the family. When you show up at practice, you need to be prepared. That means that you're on time, or if you're going to be late, I need a pass from whatever teacher you're dealing with. So if you stayed late for Miss Blake to tutor you in Spanish, then you need to have a pass from her letting me know where you were so that I know that you came straight from practice and you are being a responsible citizen. Make sure you're wearing the right clothes and shoes. We have too many guys showing up wearing Sperry's. We don't want you running into Sperry's. Guys are showing up without the right equipment, like not hydrated. They haven't drank any water since breakfast that morning. Some of you guys need a snack as well. You guys know your body, and if you're somebody that needs to eat a snack right after school's over, make sure you have that with you. You also need to make sure that you're eating properly throughout the day. Proper nutrition is important. I know that's hard. School lunch, sometimes not always all that appropriate for an athlete or anything like that, but make sure that you're eating properly through the day. That means getting up in the morning and eating breakfast and trying to eat a good lunch, and maybe there's a snack in there as well. When you show up to practice, you need to be wearing that GPS watch and carrying the smartphone with the Final Surge app, and those need to be charged. I'm getting kind of tired of people saying, "Oh, my watch ran out." Well, plug it in every night so it can be charged. You're going to be plugging into the laptop anyway to transfer your stuff into your log, so why not just charge it at the same time? Make sure that you have a positive attitude when you show up. Spend some time during the day doing some mental preparation. Some days that that we've got a hard workout coming, so come mentally prepared to do that. Be ready to work, ready to get better, and ready to contribute to the team. Even if you're not the fastest guy on the team, if you're out there doing a great job with a workout and you're working hard, that's an example for everybody else, and that's helping the people around you get better. So if you're that guy, make sure you keep doing that. We use FinalSurge.com to log everything. We worked on it all summer. It seems like everybody's pretty familiar with how to use it. Why do I need this data? Well, part of it is that I need to monitor your safety. I need to make sure that we're not running you too much because we don't want you to get injured. We also want to be effective. So if I'm not running you enough or you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then we need to fix that. And I don't know that if I don't have that data. You're going to be keeping track of times, paces, and distances for everything you do. Every step you run this year is going to be logged in by that device. I don't want you to manually log. Every once in a while, there may be something I tell you to put in, like your time trial or whatever. But generally speaking, I don't want you to manually log anything. This is going to permit you some flexibility to do a workout on your own when there's no other option. If we didn't have that, we'd have to insist that everybody is at practice every day, no matter what. So make sure that everything's charged, you don't break anything, that you are a responsible human being when it comes to looking after your technology. Those are your tools, and as a runner, you don't have very many, so you need to look after the ones that you've got. Unfortunately, for every parent meeting, one of the reasons we do it is we live in a society where people sue each other, and so I need to tell you, parents and athletes, what are some of the risks associated with cross-country running. Statistically speaking, our sport is one of the safest. If you look up the CDC data, you'll see that the injury rates in cross-country are low, death rates are very low. It's very, very safe. Your son has a very small chance of having any kind of issues related to our sport. There are some risks, though, and we can't eliminate those, but we're going to work to reduce and manage those risks. One of the things that we do is we attend coaching education. Coach Markwell started on his certifications last year and is certified as a level 1 coach through USA Track and Field. I certified through USA Track and Field this last summer at level 2, and I'm hoping sometime in the future to go to the international level and certify internationally, get a diploma from the International Amateur Athletics Federation. So I'll do that down the road one day when I've got my pennies saved up. The safety of your son is my number 1 concern. I'm not real concerned with physical comfort. I want to keep your son safe, but I'm not real worried about making him comfortable all the time. In fact, I want him to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So as a result, we're going to practice in the rain. We're going to practice in cold weather. But we're not going to practice during a lightning situation. We don't need anybody getting struck. So that would be an example where we don't want anybody to jeopardize their safety. I've attached this email, the Roadrunners Club of America Safety Guidelines. Those are some pretty good guidelines. And parents, I'd really like you guys to go through that stuff and talk about it with your son. What are some of the injuries they could get? Well, there's 2 types. There's the chronic injury. And those are things like repetitive stress type injuries, stress fractures, shin splints, knee problems, back problems, stuff like that. We have a couple guys who are dealing with some of those things right now. Nobody with a stress fracture other than Coach Markwell last year. But we do have some guys with knee and back and shin problems. How are we going to manage that risk? Well, part of that is using proper progressions of training. We try and be very careful about how much and how hard we're training. So that's why it's very important that I be able to monitor what your son's doing so I can figure out, is he doing the right amount? Is he doing what he's supposed to be doing? Is he running hard enough? We also need to inject some variety in our training. We train at a variety of different paces, and that's one of the ways that you avoid some of those chronic injuries. We also do some prehab stuff to try and strengthen some of the weak links in our kinetic chain and make ourselves less susceptible to injury. And sometimes when we have running injuries, we're going to make a referral to a specialist. The guy that we're typically using right now is a guy named Kent Kerfman at Pro Access Therapy, and he's the local running guru. He's a PhD in rehabilitation, and he's a very well qualified runner, so that's kind of something he's passionate about. Most of the injuries that you're going to see, chronic injuries, are what we would call too much too soon. And so if you go and you look at anybody right now who's struggling with an injury, a lot of those guys are guys who maybe did a good job summer training but then jumped it up too fast and started running too hard or too much too soon. Some of those other guys are guys who didn't do such a great job of summer training, and when the team training happened and they started training with the group and training with everybody else and trying to keep up with their friends, may have wound up getting hurt because they didn't have the background that they needed to, because they didn't follow through and do what they were supposed to do during the summertime. RICE is a good acronym to remember for dealing with injuries. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Those things are all still real good in terms of these kind of chronic injuries. The quality of summer training this year means that we have a lot fewer injuries and issues like this than we did in the past. We still have some, but the quality of summer training really helped. There's some acute injuries that we got to worry about too in running and cross country. We've got dehydration, especially with how hot it is outside. We're always worried about that. Heart attack, heat stroke, those are concerns. How do we manage those risks? Well, we make sure you have a physical. That's why we do one every year. Make sure the doctor checks you over. Self-monitoring, so we talk about dehydration and how to make sure that you're hydrated. I try and watch the guys when we have our meeting at the beginning and we do our little warm-up. I'm trying to evaluate if everybody looks okay. I try and monitor during training, so anytime that I can see them, so if they're running around the track, I try and see what's going on. We make sure that we don't run alone. That's a rule that we stress over and over again, but parents, I need you to stress that with the athletes as well. You know, if you're out running by yourself and you're somewhere where there's not a lot of traffic and you have a heart attack and you're laying in the ditch for an hour before anybody comes to find you, you're a lot less likely to recover from that than if you're running with a buddy and you fall out and he's able to call for help. We also want to start early. If we have proper conditioning, we're less likely to suffer from some of these problems. It's important, parents, to note that we start at the beginning of June. And we are expecting that the athletes are going to be running 6 days a week, whether they're at training or by themselves. I'm going to send some information home on this pretty soon. for the returners, so that everybody next year when they're coming back knows what the expectation is and they've seen it and they've talked it over with mom and dad. But it's really, really important, not just for performance sake, but also for the sake of safety. I have CPR and basic first aid training. I really hope I never have to use that on your son. I don't want to give any kind of first aid to anybody if I can avoid it. I also have lots and lots of experience, and so I'm looking out for your son every day. That's my number one concern. What are some other acute injuries? Well, you could get hit by a car. You could get attacked by a dog, attacked by a person. How do we manage that risk? Well, we make sure that we're following along with the Roadrunners Club of America, which I've sent out to you, their guidelines. Headphones are a mistake. You can't, really hear when somebody's coming up on you. Run in groups. Don't run alone. It's very unlikely that a person is going to attack somebody if there's 3 of you running together in a group. Much more likely to get attacked if you're by yourself. But it's also important, parents, to realize that the students are often out of my sight. It's not like other sports. If you play soccer or football, typically you're within the coach's field of vision the whole time that they're at practice. But that's not the case with me. Like, for example, we went on an easy run today, and there was a period of time for 20 minutes where I didn't see a single one of the athletes. So one of the things you have to do, parents, is you have to assess if your son is up to the challenge and mature enough to do what he needs to do. If he's not, I need to know that so we can make some decisions about how he trains and where he trains. And I also need your help reinforcing some of the rules. So please go through that with your sons. How about pasta dinners? Well, I need parents to host these. You can team up with some other families, maybe in your neighborhood, to share costs and workloads. We're going to use Sign Up Genius, so you can sign up to bring bread or salad dressing or whatever, so you don't have to provide food for 50 people all at one time. I know that can be hard on the pocketbook. So 51 people really, plus any guests we might have. You're going to provide drinks, which would be non-carbonated. Pasta and sauce, ideal would be to have maybe some bread as well, if that's a possibility. Salad, but not too much, because our boys typically don't eat a lot in the way of salad. And then desserts. These guys can eat pretty much as much dessert as they want because they're working it off every single day. You don't have anybody who's in danger of getting obese with the training that we're doing. Nothing too spicy. We don't want anybody to have an upset tummy the next day when they go to race. And we have a vegetarian on the team, at least one that I know about. So if we can have some kind of a sauce option that doesn't have meat, that would be fantastic. We want to work together, parents, as a team, so that it's not just one person providing all the food. Anytime we want to do this and we don't have somebody to host, we're going to do it in the school commons area. But you could also do it at your community pool or at your house if you have a big backyard. The kids are well-mannered, well-behaved. We're going to do the one this Friday at the in the commons area. So we're going to do this Friday before races. This Saturday's not a race, but we're going to do one this Friday, 8/28, Friday 9/11, before we go to Coaches Classic in Furman. Friday 10/9, Friday 10/23, and Friday 10/30. So those are all the pre-race pasta dinners that we're going to do. Who's going to run in each meet? Well, it's based on time and effort. So not only am I looking at how fast you ran, but I'm also looking at how hard you're pushing yourself. So if you're a guy that's pushing himself real hard, then you've got really nothing to worry about. If you're a guy who's running fast times but not really pushing himself, then that could be a little bit of a problem for you. We're not going to let participants run on varsity. We covered that already. And it's also important to understand that it's our right as coaches and our responsibility to pick the best lineup for each race. So we're trying to put the very best team out there. And parents and athletes, you sometimes may disagree with the decisions we make, but we need you to respect and support our right as coaches to make those decisions. Understand that every day at practice is a chance to convince Coach McAtee and Coach Markwell that you should run in a race. You want to show us every single day how you are the guy that's going to help us get where we need to go. You also have to have completed all the workouts leading up to a race. If you're missing training, we're just going to hold you out of meets. And what that looks like is we make you travel a meet. You're basically functioning as a manager and you're doing some training while you're there, so you can make some kind of contribution to the team. So don't think of it as a day off, because it's not. How do I put together the groups that you're training in? This is a question I often get asked. Well, I best base it on time trials and races. So I put you with people who are of similar abilities, and then I make some adjustments for there. Sometimes you got to move somebody down a little bit, maybe you got to move somebody up a little bit, but I make those adjustments. Coach Markwell makes those adjustments as we see it. You have to be willing to run hard in the meets and time trials to get into the right group. Very important you do that, because if you're not in the right group, you're not going to get better at the rate you need to. So run hard. You also have to be willing to stay with the group during training. So if you're supposed to be with a group, you can't let them drop you when you're doing intervals. You can't let them drop you when you're on long runs. You're supposed to be with those guys. You need to show and act like you're going to be with those guys and you're going to hang with them. If you're with a group and the training is too easy, man, I'm beating all these guys are chumps, then you better make sure that you're going to demonstrate that better level of fitness by beating all those guys soundly in the next meet. What are we doing this weekend? Well, we originally had scheduled to go run at the Civic Center in Anderson, but I feel like it's too hot. I don't feel like we're all the way ready. So we're going to head up to Tuxedo, North Carolina to do a long run around Summit Lake. Better from a heat perspective, also better from a team perspective. We need to still do some team building, so we're not going to split up into two different groups. We're going to try and get everybody up there and get a long run done. We're going to have a pasta dinner in the commons area the night before. Like I said, you got an email coming to you from Sign Up Genius here pretty soon. We're going to stop and eat lunch together on the way back from the run. We're actually going to go to Clemson because I've got a guest speaker out at Clemson who's going to speak to the group of guys and got some wisdom to share with them. So everybody needs to bring water for the run, probably 2 bottles. Everybody needs to bring a snack for right after the run. And you also need to bring $7 in cash for your lunch. I'll provide drinks and pizza and cookies or some other kind of dessert. So I need $7 in cash. Please don't bring checks if you can at all avoid it. That would be much easier. So guest speaker is a little bit of a mystery, but it's going to be great. I think he's going to have a lot of good stuff to share with you. This is, again, all this stuff right here is coming off the schedule. It's been revised a little bit, so I'm including a copy of that in your email as well. So that's all right there. On the 12th, we're going to have 2 different groups. We're going to have a group going to the Coaches Classic. We're going to leave pretty early on Saturday morning. It's probably going to be a 5:30 or 6 departure. Top 7 guys get to go and race in the international division. That's the division that's meant for teams that are projected to finish in the top 10 in their classification in the state meet. As soon as we are done running at that meet, we're going to leave and we're going to stop and have a team lunch somewhere along the way. So you'll need to bring $10-15 with you for that meet. The rest of the crew is going to go out to Furman. That's a Saturday meet at Furman at the golf course. Probably leave school around 9 o'clock or so. The varsity, which is going to be our top 8 to 10 guys of the guys that don't go to the Coaches Classic, they're going to race at 10:45. The rest of the guys will race JV. That'll be at 12:15. So I only have bus transportation on the way over. I've asked a favor of the lady who's going to drive us over on the bus, so I'm not going to make her wait for 6 hours to pick you guys up. So you have to have your own transportation back from the meet, and so that means parent. A parent has to be able to pick your son up. If it can't be grandparents, can't be best friend, can't be older sisters, got to be parent. If you can't pick your son up, I understand completely. We just won't be able to let your son run. You just got to let me know that so that I don't enter him in the meet. Coach Markwell is going to go along with that group, so he's going to be there to supervise. So he'll drive himself over, and then the bus lady will leave, hopefully with an empty bus that all the guys have gotten their things off of. And Markwell will coach them to victory and then make sure that everybody's picked up and taken care of, and then he's going to head on home. So on the day, Markwell is the guy you probably need to communicate with. 9/23, that's a Wednesday. We're having the canned food drive meet out at Hillcrest High School. Nice flat course. We're going to leave directly after school. It's a possibility that we're going to get early dismissal. I haven't asked Mr. Mayfield about that yet, but oftentimes, even with these close meets, it's nice if we can get out, and leave at about 3:35, just so we can beat the traffic and get there and have plenty of time to set up and get organized. Everybody's going to run in that race, but nobody's actually going to race. I'm going to give you tempo times. So I'm going to tell you exactly how fast I want you to run, and you're going to do your absolute best to hit that to the second if possible. This is going to give you a chance to learn the course for the county meet. That's where we have the county meet. It's going to give you a chance to get the workout in for the week, and it's also going to allow you to save up some energy for low country, which is on that weekend, and that's definitely the focus of that week. We want to bring in a respectable total weight and food. Every runner on our team needs to bring at least some different canned food items. We want to try and bring some heavy stuff because they don't go off number of items, they go off total weight. So figure out what the homeless and hungry could eat that also weighs a lot. That weekend, we're going to go to the Low Country Invitational. We've changed this up just a little bit this year. It's a little bit different setup than it was last year. It's a Saturday meet, but we're going to leave Friday morning after a couple of periods. I'll calculate it out exactly so we don't miss any more school than we need to, and I'll let you know that as we get closer. In order to be eligible for that, you have to complete all the workouts from 8:23, which was this Monday, all the way up to 9:24. Can't skip any workouts in there. We're going to drive down to Johns Island when we leave school. We're going to stop for lunch in Columbia. That'll be a buy your own, so bring some cash for that. And we're going to run the course for a warm-up. Then we're going to load up. We're going to head back to St. Christopher's on Seabrook Island, and we're going to eat a team dinner together. Fantastic food at that place. We're going to stay in cabins at St. Christopher's on Johns Island, so you have to bring a sleeping bag, pillow, towels, etc. I'll let you know all that stuff as we get closer. We're going to get up real early the next morning. We're going to eat a little bit of breakfast on the bus, some fruit, maybe some bagels or something like that. Nothing crazy. Just get a little bit of fuel in the tank. We're going to race varsity and JV, and then we're going to leave the site, and we're going to stop and eat lunch on the way. And you'll buy your own, and we're going to head out to Folly Beach. This afternoon, the 26th, is the last weekend of the year that Folly Beach has lifeguards on duty, so it should be safe for the guys to be in the water. I'm going to need some chaperones, probably not 3 to 4. I've gotten some confirmations from people today, so hopefully it'll be Markwell, myself. I know Mr. Mayfield can go, and so we're looking for a couple other people. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. The total cost for the trip's pretty steep. It's $130, and this is going to cover dinner on Friday, dinner on Saturday, plus lodging on Friday and Saturday night at St. Christopher's. It's also going to include the charges for the bus. We don't get the bus for free. We pay the district for that, and that's pretty significant. It's about $2,000 for us to do this trip, which is about half of what it costs to charter a bus. You're also going to need some money for personal meals, lunch on Friday, lunch on Saturday. We're going to eat our lunch back at St. Christopher's on Sunday. I didn't put that in there, but we'll go back to St. Christopher's, clean up, eat our lunch, then get loaded on the bus and start heading for home. If there's anybody out there that's listening to this and they're like, hey, I don't have $130, there's no way I can go on this trip, that is not a reason for you not to go. Come see me and we'll work it out. We'll figure something out. I'll let you work it off, or we'll do something else. Give you an opportunity to fundraise something. If you can't go because you have some other commitment, I'm really sad for you, because it's a great opportunity to run and it's a great team bonding experience. But I need to know that ASAP so I don't pay for your room and meal and waste the cash. We can cancel up to about September the 11th. So I need to know that way in advance of that, so that I don't put you down for going if you're not going. So, oops, I skipped one. So on after Folly Beach, we're going to head back. We're going to eat some dinner over at St. Christopher's. On Sunday morning, we're going to get up. We'll eat a little bit of breakfast on the bus, and we're going to head into Charleston. I'm going to drop people off at the market, and you're going to run up from the market up to the Cooper River Bridge, which I think is actually technically called the Ravenel Bridge. And you're going to run across the bridge and out to Patriots Point. This run's going to be about 5 miles, so it's not going to be super, super long. Everybody's on the team at that point will have done a 5-mile run before. I'm going to pick up the bus from Patriot Point, and we'll head back to the camp. We'll eat lunch, and then we'll start back towards home after we get cleaned up. We should be back on campus by about 5 in the evening on Sunday. So it'll be kind of a long weekend, but I think it'll be good. I think we'll have a good time. And again, that Monday after that will be a day off practice. That's the 28th. So if you want to plan for doctor's appointments, that would be a day for doing it. The next weekend, we have the Gene Mullins meet out at Furman. We're going to leave JL Man pretty early. I don't have a lot of details on this meet, but we will race a varsity and a JV. That next Wednesday night, it's an important meet, Region Champs. That's on Wednesday, that Wednesday the 14th at Dorman. We're going to leave right after school, possibly a little early. Haven't asked Mr. Mayfield about that yet, but maybe we can get an early dismissal so we can get out there and make sure that we're settled. We're going to just be up front with you that winning region is a lot of cases just as hard or harder than winning our state meet. The teams that are in our region are the same teams that you're going to face at state meet. All of them are teams that have been in the top 10 at state within the last few years. So it's tough. It's a tough region. It's a good chance to learn the course. That's where the upper state meet's going to be, and that's pretty much where the upper state meet's going to be for the rest of the foreseeable future. So even if you're not going to run in the upper state meet this year, this is a chance for you to learn the course, learn what it takes to be successful on that course. The Dorman course is about 30 seconds slow for our fast guys. So if you ran 16 flat on a flat course, like at Low Country, you should be inside 16:30 when you go to Dorman. For the slower guys, let's say you ran 20 at Low Country, you should be inside 20:45 at Dorman, assuming that you had a great race on the flat course. On the 24th is the Greenville County meet. That's a Saturday meet, again at Hillcrest, so we will run that one time in the canned food drive meet. We're going to part between 7 and 8. Haven't heard what the race time is, so we'll do that coming up. Some of our top guys may tempo in that meet. Winning Greenville County would be great, but I'd rather save some of our ammunition for upper state and for state meets so that we can really focus on winning like a higher level competition. This is a very competitive meet on both the varsity and the JV level, so this is a good time for guys to compete and run hard and show what they've got. It's going to be the last meet for guys that are not in our top 8 to 10 guys, and also who have not elected to run Foot Locker in November. So we'll talk about that in a second. So if this could be the end of the road for you if you're not one of our top guys. So season goes by pretty fast. You can't afford to miss any training, can't afford to have any bad workouts, because you'll wake up on the morning of the 25th and you'll realize, man, that went real quick. On the 31st, again, that's Halloween. We have 4A Upper State. That's at Dorman. We don't know departure time yet because we don't know race times. We're going to run our varsity 7, plus we'll enter an alternate, and that alternate will travel, and that alternate will warm up with the team. We're going to train 2 or 3 alternates for the meet just in case, because if you enter one alternate and that person gets sick or injured, you can't replace them once they've been entered. So we need to have a couple guys that are waiting in the wings. We have to be in the top 7 to advance, I believe, to the state meet. I'll confirm that as we go. 2011, we were 10th place. We almost made it as a team, but we didn't have any individuals go. 2012, we were 14th place. Not as close as a team, and no individuals went. In 2013, we were 15th place, not close as a team. Jack finished 12th as an individual, so he advanced to state meet. In 2014, we were 6th place, and we were 6th as a team, and Jack was 4th. It looks like, if you look 11, 12, 13, it looks like we were getting worse as a team. Truth is, we got a lot better as a team during that period of time, but the problem is everybody else got a lot better, and they got a lot better more than we got better. So we've got some tough roads ahead of us in terms of being able to compete. 17:36 as an average for the top 5 made state meet last year, so that's on the Dorman course, so take 30 seconds off that. That's a team average somewhere under 17 minutes. Can we do that? I absolutely believe we can do that. Very next weekend is state champs. That's Saturday meet with a possible Friday departure. I don't know what time we would need to leave on Saturday morning to get there, but if it's too early, we'll go and we'll hotel it the night before. If we make the meet and we need a hotel, the school covers that, so we don't need to worry about that. We will have some food costs. We'll go out for a dinner on Friday. Whether we travel down on Friday or travel down on Saturday, we're going to have a dinner, probably a restaurant-style dinner. And then we'll have lunch on Saturday on the way back from the meet. We're going to run our varsity 7 again, plus an alternate, so the magic number is 8. You want to be inside that top 8 at the end of the season. We were 6th last year. Our goal is to improve on that finish, and I'm very confident we can do that. We've done a great job preparing so far. Next event is going to be our team banquet. That starts at 6:30 on Thursday night, the 11th, the 19th, and that's in the Commons area at Jail Man. There's no cost for the athletes. That's covered. But it's $10 for parents and guests if they plan on eating. What we do for children is we actually do half price on that. So if you got a 12, 8-year-old, somebody like that, they can eat for $5, and that's pretty good value. It's a pretty good pasta dinner for that. But if you're not going to eat and you want to just come and watch, you're welcome to come for free. We'd love to have as many people as we can there. We talk about every guy and give every guy a chance to say something on their own behalf, and it's a great night. I'm looking forward to it. On the 28th, which I believe is Thanksgiving weekend, it's the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, there's a meet in Charlotte at McAlpine Park. It's the same place where Wendy's meet is. It's not a team event, so you have to pay your own entry, and you have to do your own entry online, and you have to supply your own transportation. I can coach you leading up to the meet. I can give you workouts. I can tell you what you need to do to prepare. I can even supervise those workouts. and I'm going to do my absolute best to come and watch you compete if it's at all possible. It's a great chance to race on a fast course. That course has a pretty good hill in it, but the time that you lose going up that hill, you gain coming back down that hill, and it's great competition. It's all broken up into age groups. So our 13 and 14-year-olds, you guys are racing against other 13 and 14-year-olds. So you get a chance to race against people of your own age. So it's a great way to end out the season. Gives you an extra couple weeks to train. You have to get registered about a month out. Otherwise, the fees go up. You can register the day of the meet, but the fees are astronomical if you register too late. So if you're thinking about doing this, look at your schedule, figure it out, see me, and we'll get you the information, and you can go from there. I would encourage you to do this if you're going to be around and you're willing to train the extra 3-4 weeks. How do we get to the meets? Well, we're going to take our own bus to all the meets. You have to ride the bus to the meet with the team. That's a Greenville County policy. You can ride home from the meet with your own parents or guardians under special circumstances. That's your own parents or guardians. You can't ride there with your next door neighbor or even your best friend. Can't ride there with your grandparents. That's not my rule. That's a county rule. It's just my job to enforce that. There's a special form, and I've attached that to the email, and I also will have some copies of that with me at the meets. So what I want you to do is fill out that form and give it to me as you are leaving the meet. I'd prefer that the parent doesn't give it to me. I'd prefer the athlete gives it to me so I can check out and I can speak directly to them, and if there's anything I need to tell them before they leave the meet. Please don't give me the forms at the start of the meet. Wait until you're getting ready to leave. If you can't find me at that point in the meet, just text me. I probably wouldn't have left the meet. GreenvilleCountyAthletics.com is our website. There's a boys cross country page on there, but they're getting ready to take that down. We switched providers. As soon as I know what the new web address is, I'll start putting stuff up there and I'll give you that information. But for right now, there's probably still some info up there on GreenvilleCountyAthletics.com. SCRunners.com is another good website that you need to know about. It's a good site for information on cross country in our state and around the nation. Some of the content on there is subscription based. I have a subscription, or the program has a subscription, but much of what's on there is not subscription based. So you can see race results and whatnot. So if you're ever wondering, how did my son do in that race? What was his time? You can just go right on SC Runners, and over on the right hand side it has a meet results area, and you can look up all the results. Let's talk about pickup from training. Every week you're getting an email with a schedule of times and places for each week on Saturday or Sunday evening. Please note the pickup times from practice and do your best to be there on time, or make sure your carpool person is going to be there on time. We've been doing a real good job of that. But realize that if you're late, you got to let me know that. I cannot leave practice until your son has been picked up. And so it's important for you guys to note that I have a 45-minute drive to get home to Clemson. And some days I'm responsible for picking up my kids. And so if you're making me wait on you, then my children's coach is waiting on me, and I don't really want to be in that situation. I don't want to put them in that situation. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Just let me know that, and we'll work with you. If you're a person that picks up late every once in a blue moon, you don't even have to tell me you're sorry, because I know a lot of times it's traffic or it's something unforeseen that came up. Just communicate. Let me know. If we're working out at the new jail man, you pick up at the rear of the school at the track. The reason why is that's where I'm going to be, and I need to have your son within my eyesight while he's getting picked up, because if he's picked up in the front of the school and I don't know that he hasn't been picked up and I leave thinking he's already picked up, then he's waiting there at school, and we don't want to have that situation. If you're dropping off at school for some reason, doctor's appointment, don't ever drive in by the track when school is letting out. That's actually against federal law for you to be in there same time as the school buses. So you got to pull up to the front of the school to drop off. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it works. On the days that we're at Old Jail Man, we'll pick up at Jail Man just like being dropped off at Jail Man. What's the letter policy? Well, I'm including the letter policy with this email so you can read it over. It's pretty tight. It's pretty stringent. It's the same as last year. It lines up pretty well with lettering and track. So how can you letter? You can be selected to our top 8 for upper state or state meet, or you can break your class record, and that's listed right on the letter policy. And we had a bunch of guys letter that way last year. So even though some of our class records are pretty strong, it can be done. There's special consideration for seniors. So if you If you've never lettered and you've been a great asset to the team as a senior, we're going to letter you, but you gotta cross all your T's and dot all your I's in order to be able to do that, seniors. It's hard to letter in our sport, but it means something in our sport. It's a lot more meaningful than it is in some other sports. There's guys that earn letters in other sports that don't really ever spend much time on the field. All our guys are going to spend time on the field, but if you lettered, that means that you were a guy that got some pretty good results when he was out there. We're going to order jackets this year. It's going to be the same as last year's track and cross country. Oh, I know. The guys are disappointed to know it's the same jacket. I promise that for next year we'll change and we'll go with a new jacket for cross country and for track. Nike puts out new stuff in the Olympic year, so we'll have some new styles and selections to choose from in 2016, I hope. Orders are due by next Monday. That's August 31st, so I need that stuff. I've attached the form to this email. You have to fill it out completely, parents. Please be careful as you write that. I need to know not only the name, but I also need to know what you want embroidered on the jacket. Don't make me guess. It's going to cost $60 for that jacket. That includes all the decorating and shipping and all that other stuff. It's a really nice jacket. They fit a little bit small, so if you're not sure about sizing, they're kind of tight in the forearm and the wrist. Lots of guys on the team have them. Maybe try and find a guy on the team who was on the team last year and has the same size as you, and find out what his deal is and see if you can try his jacket on. We can also order jackets for parents and other family members at that same price. You just fill out a separate order form if you want to get a jacket for grandma so she can have some jailman cross-country swag, then please feel free to do that. I'm also going to charge you guys a $50 team fee. That's for covering the following things. After the races, we're going to feed your athlete a little bit of a snack. We're going to have them do some chocolate milk, protein bar, or some other kind of snack, and half a banana. If there's anybody here that has food allergies, and I know there's a few guys that are peanut butter allergies or tree nut allergies or whatever, see me and we're going to do something special for you. Make sure you're taken care of. Just got to let me know that. We're also going to provide a t-shirt for student athletes. That's included in your team fee. We've broken up the entry fees for our meets. Furman is $175 to go and compete, which is pretty steep, but it's a good opportunity for the guys to race close to home. So we've got entry fees that are broken up in there. The athlete's meal at the banquet's also covered, so that's in there as well. We have some equipment that we need to buy every year, and so we want to make sure that we've budgeted for that. We also have to pay for our SC Runners subscription, and also for the subscription for using the service FinalSurge.com. I got FinalSurge.com for several years for free because I did some work in helping to develop the website and give some feedback on that. I think what I did was called beta testing. So I got it for free, and now we get it for half price. So we got to roll that cost into the team fee as well. But if there's anybody out there, again, that can't afford this, come see me. We'll make it work. I don't want anybody not to run cross country because of a financial burden. Every year I have some parents say to me, if anybody can't pay the team fee, let me know and I'll pay my sons and whoever's anonymously. So if you can't do it, let me know and we'll go from there. Some parents want to order extra t-shirts. Don't order a t-shirt for your son unless you want an extra t-shirt for your son. If you're going to order an extra, they're $15 per shirt. That's basically the cost of the shirt. It's a nice technical fabric, good screen printing and good design. It says Run Man on the front. It's red and it's got an inspirational quote on the back. That'd be a great way to support the program. But you got to fill out an order form, and that's attached. And so you're only ordering the extra. You're not ordering the one. You've already told me what your son wears. I've already ordered the shirts for your son. I just want to know if you want an extra one. So if you parent, sibling, grandparent, etc., they can get themselves a shirt. So maybe you don't want to buy grandma the $60 Jailman jacket. Maybe you're going to buy her the $15 Jailman t-shirt. I'd ideally like you to write one check per athlete. Everything that we talked about tonight is due Monday, August 31st. So that's 6 days from now or 7 days from now. Write one check, make it payable to Jailman, and write your son's name on the memo line if it's not obvious. If you write the check for an amount that doesn't line up with what's included in your packet, I'm going to hand that back to you to correct it just so that we're on the same page. So make sure that you double check your math on that one. If we run into any problems during the season, please come see me so we can work through it. The lines of communication are very, very open and very important. I want this to be a positive and rewarding experience for everybody on the team, and also for the parents as well. I want you to have a good experience here as well. We run a quality program. I want everybody to be happy and feel like their needs got fulfilled. But we also want to be great representatives for the school. We have a great school, and we want to have a great cross-country program at the same time. As always, if you have any questions about anything that you saw here tonight, please let me know that.